Welcome to the Dork Forest. Jackie and her pals will never bore us. Shameless confessions
about our obsession
will make us laugh and smile. So let's explore the Dork Forest and dork out for a while.
Hi, Jackie Kashian here. You're listening to The Dork Forest. You know the websites, dorkforest.com, thedorkforest.com if you like a determiner. JackieKashian.com has everything. Both of my podcasts, all of the stand-up stuff, the new album, links to YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all the things. But so, I think, does dorkforest.com, where you can look at old videos of different shows. Anyway, if you want to support the show, tell people about the show, review it on iTunes, thumbs it up on Pandora or Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. I appreciate that. You can donate. You can donate monthly. PayPal lets you do that. You can also do my Venmo if you like. It's at Jackie Kashian, absolutely everywhere. And my email address is jackie@jackiekashian.com, and that's what the PayPal is. The PayPal link is on jackiekashian.com and dorkforest.com. And go to any of them. Thanks for listening. There's merch. There's stand-up, there's tour guide, you can find out where I'm touring. This is getting long, so let's get into the show. Hey, Rangers of the Dork Forest, it is I, Jackie Kashian, sitting in my garage, and with me, stand-up comic I just worked with in San Diego, Ellen Sugarman. Welcome to the program, Ellen Sugarman. Hi, we're baseball cap buddies. That's the thing about Zoom. You gotta like, I would like to that's what I'm wearing masks right now, just if I want to be alone. Anyway, so we worked together at the lovely, at a spa overnighter. That was adorable in San Diego.
Mission Bay Resort. Yeah.
That's it. Mission Bay Resort. And it was lovely, quite honestly. And, I would stay there longer if
it's a gorgeous place.
Yeah. And then and we worked together. And then the guy, who was the guy he was just on? We talked about
Matt Stanton.
It was Matt Stanton. So I needed an episode, and he said, well, I live like 5 minutes from here. And I said, could you record at 10 o'clock at night on a Friday night? And he was like, yeah. And so that's
awesome.
So we all did that show together, and then you just emailed me out of the blue, and I was like, do you want to do the Dork Forest? And you were like, yes, I do.
I do. I have an obsession. You
do. You got a thing. By the way, it's Ellen Sugarman, ELLEN SUGARMAN 617 on the Instagram. So Ellen Sugarman 617 on Instagram, Ellen S 617 on the Twitter. Is 617 an area code? What is that?
It is Boston.
Oh, Boston. Oh, it is. Oh, that's right. 617 is the Boston area code. Oh.
Yeah. We're very loyal to our teams and our numbers.
It's so beautiful. That'd be nice. It's if only there was no racism. But that's true of everywhere. So what are you going to do? Yeah. Except for keep telling people that they're racist and to stop it. How about that? Anyway, speaking of racism, the prison system. Super racist. But the weird thing that you love to watch, which is so funny because I went on the road once with to one of those troop tours with a woman who loved Locked Up Abroad.
Oh, yeah, that's one of them.
Oh, is that one of the ones you like? Because you like those prison shows. That's the only one I know, and I only know it because when we were in the Ethiopian airport, she went into the bathroom and she said, that bathroom looks like it belongs in Locked Up Abroad. And
Locked Up Abroad is crazy.
Well, so Ellen Sugarman, prison shows. You want to talk about Locked Up Abroad first?
No. Well, Locked Up, I will tell you, the thing I will tell you about Locked Up Abroad is that there's two types of prison shows, right? There you have your live, real life prison shows.
Okay.
Then you have your fabricated prison shows. And what got me into prison shows was the fabricated side of it. What's kept me going is now everything's reality, right?
Oh, weird. So what's a like that Oz thing?
Oz, that's it. That was the first one. 1990. What did I write? 1997 to 2003. And the interesting thing about Oz was that it was the first 1 hour drama on HBO. right? So
Oh.
I didn't really even understand what was happening. Like, oh, this is a series on my cable channel that I'm supposed to be watching movies on, and
Right.
Gary Shandling, and that was it. But never was there like an hour drama. And so I started watching it, and oh my God, I just loved it.
Janeway's on it. Janeway from Voyager.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's so many like stars of like Law and Order, Criminal Intent, like all of those criminal shows, they all are on Oz. And
Okay.
they're like,
It's a women's prison, correct?
no, it's a man's prison.
Oh,
No, it's yeah.
Oz is a men's prison.
Oz is a men's prison. Edie Falco it was one of her first shows. She was on it. She was a prison guard.
Oh, weird. Was Edie
Yeah.
Falco, was she on Sopranos?
Yeah, that Edie Falco.
Okay. Did she
Yeah.
play the psychiatrist on,
No, that's
did she play the wife?
she was
Of
the
Edie?
wife. Yeah.
Okay.
She was
the
Carmela. Yeah.
New Jersey wife. Got it.
Yeah. The New Jersey housewife.
Yeah.
But with the nails and everything. But yeah, she was like real like tough and just totally different than she was on The Sopranos. I remember when I first saw her on The Sopranos, I was like, oh my God, it's the prison guard. And but that was like, I loved her, but more importantly, it was the guys. They were, pardon me, but they were so hot, Jackie. I couldn't stop watching it. It was like, and then I found out later that it was like a gay thing. Like a lot of gay men watched it because a lot of full frontal on the men, and
right, because it's HBO, they could do swinging dicks. Interesting.
lots of them.
Oh, interesting.
Lots of them, and all shapes and sizes and colors.
Are these famous actor men who are nudely nude? Oh, that's kind of fascinating.
I cannot look at Chris Merloni anymore without watching him pee without holding his penis.
Okay, because was that a big scene in the movie? They're like, we're going to show frontal, but it's going to be a lot of dudes peeing.
Well, like it was like they did it from above, so they shot down, so you saw his.
So it's not like taint none of my concern. Like it's not undercam, right?
No. I mean, I would say it was very visually pleasing as a show as a whole.
Cinematography was quite nice. Is that what I'm saying?
It's beautiful.
Beautiful cinema. The lighting, did they do a nice job?
It's really about the lighting for me. I don't know. But it was almost like a soap opera. It was very much like a soap opera.
Yeah, I bet you it was a soap opera. I bet you it was a nighttime soap opera.
Well, it kind of, yeah, exactly. It was, and so it was called
Who
Oz.
are we following?
What do you mean?
Like, do we follow one guy go into prison or no?
No, well, we follow, so it's an entire, Oz is the Oswald maximum security prison in, somewhere USA. And Emerald City is where we were. So it was in this pod called Emerald City, and those were it was a rehabilitation pod where they tried to have like no walls and just a looser, and McManus, who was he was in charge of this particular pod of people. He was their director, and he tried to help them and rehabilitate them and see what could maybe happen with a different system. It failed miserably. I'm gonna, not to give anything away.
Spoiler alert: 1997 to 2003. It didn't. That's not good drama. If it works out and everybody becomes good citizens.
Exactly. I mean, I think like I still remember the last scene where they were driving away, and I can give.
You can do it.
Okay. So the last scene of the whole thing was they were driving away, and the whole thing went up in flames.
So they essentially burned it down like Office Space?
Basically, yeah. But so they are like Office Space, exactly.
Okay.
But there was that, and then there was also like they had riots, and they had gang wars, and Luke Perry was on it. He was a priest.
Okay.
They had lots of guest stars. Rick Fox was on it. He was a a basketball player that got in trouble for raping a girl that was also on a lot of drugs.
Did he get in trouble for raping a girl? That, you know what,
Well,
you will get in trouble. Not all basketball players,
You
but
know, not
some
all
basketball.
Yeah, that's why.
But some basketball players will get in trouble if you rape a girl. Spoiler alert, don't rape anybody. Just a PSA. Okay.
Well, I mean, but here's the thing. This isn't real life, Jackie. So they actually do get in trouble and go to jail.
Right. I just heard today at lunch, one of the younger comics was telling me that Jimmy Dore, I don't know if you know him, but he's been a piece of trash for decades. He's an okay comic. And now he's just a one-note comic. But he was an okay comic in the 90s. I didn't mind him. But I guess a month ago at Flappers, he walked up to one of the younger comics who he thought would never go to lunch with me, I guess, and said that she was really funny. And she's like, thanks. And he said, what if I just did this? And he grabbed her tits. And she said, you did just do that. And he said, well, I'm just saying, what if I did? And she said, you just grabbed my tits. And he was like, well, I'm just saying, what if I, anyway, so no repercussions on that.
No repercussions,
$1 million in Patreon.
If he was in Oz, he would have gone to jail.
He would have been in jail in Oz.
He would have been in jail.
Right.
But they did, so that was that. I would have to say that was my favorite prison TV show of all time. Have you seen any of it?
No. Is it great? Why is it great?
I loved it.
Besides the handsomeness of what's going on with the fellas.
I mean, like, I'm sorry.
Do you like other dramas, or do you like other soap operas?
No, no, not really. I mean, I like other dramas, but I mean, this one had something
like The Sopranos, or?
Oh yeah. Oh, I love The Sopranos. Yeah.
Okay, so you do like other hour-long dramas.
Yeah, but not all. I mean, but not like this. Not like I love this show. I mean, this show I was so addicted to, and I loved it so much. And nobody else was into it when I was watching it. And people would be like, it was the guy from 30 something. He was kind of the star of the show. Do you remember 30 something?
I know the name of it. I never watched it, but
Ken Nolan
they were in their 30s.
Something. But he was the star of it. And then there was like the guy from Dexter was on it, and Chris Maloney was kind of a big character as well. And then a guy who's won an Oscar since, he was a white supremacist, big swastika on his arm and stuff. I know, as a Jewish girl, you would think I'd hate it, but for some reason, I don't know.
Well, was there any redemption?
That is a really, really good question.
Well, I mean, you kept watching it, and it was every week was a train wreck.
Yeah. And the death and destruction. Yeah.
Just all around, and nobody gets any better.
And they still used the death penalty. The death penalty took place in Oz. So sometimes
so whatever state they were in was a death penalty state. Okay.
So not Massachusetts. Massachusetts, but and they actually, a woman who had killed her 2 kids. Yeah, she killed her 2 kids. She was in there.
She was in Oz? I thought it was a
She was in Oz, but it was but because she was a lifer, I mean on death row, I guess they brought her there. I didn't really know the procedural stuff about it.
Was every season like an arc? Was there any season was it like a 1-story arc for the whole season, or was it a monster of the week kind of thing?
Monster of the week kind of thing. I mean, they did have like it did lead to something. Like one year it was oh my God, I'm forgetting something. What? Rita Moreno was in this. She was the prison psychologist who was also a nun.
Oh, all right. What did she? And she couldn't fix him either?
No, but she did protest the death penalty.
Okay, so that was
And B.D. Wong. Do you know who B.D. Wong is?
No.
Also kind of a well-known actor on these days, but he was also a psychologist who was a priest. So apparently that was a thing. Yeah.
apparently that was a thing.
Yeah.
It's wow. So this is the late 90s, early 2000s, and most of these actors went on to do other things.
Yeah, some of them, a lot of them ended up in like The Sopranos and The Wire, so other HBO shows. Some of them disappeared completely and I never saw them again. Some of them ended up in a lot of like every once in a while I'll see one of them. One of the stars was a guy by the name of Beecher who actually played Dexter.
Okay.
Who
did Janeway play? Janeway played a guard? No, somebody else played a guard.
Yeah, I don't remember. I'll have to look that up. Because I know what you're talking about and I remember, but I don't. Well, I wonder if she was a wife.
No. Was there a women's prison show?
No.
Because Orange is the New Black.
Oh, Orange is the New Black.
That's what Janeway was in. Janeway was in Orange is the New Black.
Oh, okay.
Oz was a men. Now I remember. Oz was the men's prison. Orange is the New Black is the women's prison, and we follow in some sort of white collar crime, Whitey Magoo lady who goes into a women's prison and finds out what life is really like.
Yeah.
And, did you ever
drug
watch
trafficking? You know, that is like that one. I have to tell you. Right? Like, and this is so that being a real life story. And so I was addicted to that one just as much, you know, but that one being a real life story, they really jumped the shark. Like she got out of prison and then decided she wanted to go back into prison because her girlfriend was there. That doesn't happen. That's not real.
No, that and also was it supposed to be real?
Well, it's a true story. It was a story of a regular girl who fell in love with another girl who ended up drug trafficking and got arrested. But, you know, like they took a lot of, what do they call it? License?
Liberties, license, yes.
Yes, a lot of dramatic liberties and licenses.
But Oz wasn't based on real life, right?
No.
I don't think Orange is the New Black. I think Orange is the New Black claiming to be based on real life
it's a true story.
But just means that there was a rich white lady who sold drugs and went to jail. That's all the truth is. There's no journaling of, you know, and then I met Janeway in the showers and we had a knife fight. You know, I mean, it's like nobody wants, like, because it was Orange is the New Black. That one was later. That one was after Oz, if I remember correctly.
I think so. Yes, I think that much later. Orange is the New Black came much after that, but I had read the book Orange is the New Black. And so I was kind of excited to see how they were going to do it. It was totally different. The book was not better. The book was better. I mean, who's ever said that?
Right, but was the book more based on truth or was it also fictionalized?
No, it was her story. It was completely her story.
Oh, it was an autobiography of the woman who did go to jail.
Yes. And that's why it's called Orange is the New Black, right? Because little black
fashion.
Dress.
Yeah.
Fashion statement.
Sure.
Because they're girls.
Ladies love fashion.
And so, and they're girls. So what else are we going to talk about, really?
What else?
Except for our outfits.
Exactly. So you watched that.
Mm-hmm. I did, but I will tell you, interesting enough, is that Locked Up Abroad, I watched that, and that's where I learned about this case, the case of the woman who was the star of Orange is the New Black. Yeah.
You were watching Locked Up Abroad, and you heard about the Orange is the New Black lady. Okay, and then went back because it looks like Orange is the New Black is 2013 to 2019.
Yeah, it was short-lived. It wasn't.
But 7 years is longer than the 6 years that Oz was. Oz was 6 seasons. Orange is the New Black was 7.
Oh,
and it looks like the final season was right before COVID lockdown.
That is true.
Mm-hmm.
That is true. Oh, that is a really good point. All right. I don't know why it felt short. You know what? It's because so many other series came between the two of them. Right. And so like it it wasn't so unique to have these.
Right. Once Oz, I think, introduced the idea of, wouldn't it be
Yeah.
great to watch people in jail, whether it's fictionalized or real?
Yeah.
Then it's just, there was a deluge. I remember seeing, isn't there a sort of a HGTV or a True TV lockdown or?
Well, that brings me to a whole new genre, which
Yes,
is
please.
the reality prison TVs, which is now my current obsession, which is because they don't really have the dramas anymore. And if they did, I don't think they're very, like, I don't watch any other ones, but
you're into the realist, the real life. This is a guy or this is a woman that is locked up.
Love After Lockup.
What's
There's
after lockup?
There's love after lockup, life after lockup, and love in lockup. And then inmate to roommate, but that's all. I don't even know what I have time for that.
Oh my God. Please start somewhere. Oh my God.
So Love After Lockup was really, so Love After Lockup was the first reality TV prison show I watched. Although Locked Up Abroad was there, it didn't really go into their prison as much as it went into like the story of how they got arrested. So these are people that are prison pen pals, and they meet a guy or a girl who's in prison, and when they get out, they're so in love. Most of them are already engaged but haven't met, and then they get out of prison and hilarity ensues. It's crazy.
And which one is this, or is this all of them?
Love After Lockup, Life After Lockup. Yeah.
Okay.
So like, I think what happens with reality shows, or what I can tell, is that they're meant to be one season and then they go away, and then you can't really follow them. But some of them you're like, well, wait, I want to follow this guy. You know what I mean? What's he doing now? So then they do like a whole nother series. And then there are repeat people, Jackie, there are people that, as much as I am so into the TV show, there's this one guy on the current one, his name is Deontay. And Deontay right now is on his fourth prisoner.
Oh, wait. So Deontay keeps falling in love with women who are in prison, men who are in prison?
Yeah,
women. And so he is like, this is the pool of humanity that I'm going to definitely be able to get some action with. If not, find my soulmate.
Exactly.
So this sounds like reality show contrivance, but that's fine. It's right. I mean, the thing is that they're doing it right. They're doing it right.
Well, people in prison, like they, like the people in prison are just kind of like, they're going to talk to anybody, right? And a lot of them talk to a lot of people, and that's what we're finding out. Apparently, these are not guys or women that we can count on in relationships.
Is that what you learn over and over again every episode? Are these half hours or are they hours?
Oh no. In fact, Love After Lockup at some weeks are 2 hours long.
Oh no. Wow.
It's on WeTV.
Well,
women's entertainment, of course.
Women's entertainment. So what you do, so walk me through an episode of frickin' Love After Lockup. Is it a different person every episode?
No, it's every season has about 5 or 6 couples, and you follow them.
Okay.
You follow them from beginning to end. And if you are so inclined, you can also follow them on Instagram and Twitter, as well as the groups that also do and talk about it. And it's, as much of a fan as I think I am, these people are really into it, right?
They're into it, right?
Yeah, okay. Like I've forgotten about the people on season 1, unless every once in a while you hear about one of them that died of an overdose. It's always an overdose. It's always an overdose. And then they all go back to prison too. I mean, really and truly.
So it's not a violent death. It's usually some sort of tragic addiction death. Yikes.
It is.
Okay, so Love After Lockup. Talk me through who
okay.
Like, what are you currently watching?
I'm watching the current. Yeah, I'm watching this season, and this season is a lot of repeat people. So what's happening is, like, Deontay, we first met Deontay like 4 seasons ago with this other girl whose name I've since forgot, who was using Deontay for money and actually ended up marrying her prison girlfriend.
Okay, so she
and
gets
Deontay
out.
He was heartbroken. Heartbroken.
Sure. Is
Heartbroken.
Deontay working, trying to give some money to the lady when she gets out?
He was making it rain for her. He really was.
Did the woman, do you know where she is now, that first season woman?
I do, because I follow her on Instagram, I'm proud to say. And she is still married to her prison wife, her prison girlfriend. So that's nice.
So the two of them met in prison and they are still together.
They are still together.
And are they on the outside, or are they both still?
They are both on the outside. They're both.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
As of right now, I mean, there could be an update coming.
But hopefully they're, it's sort of, they have each other and they're kind of, I mean, here's the thing about when you get out of prison, you do need some sort of support system. And so if you met somebody in prison who's actually, you're like, well, I don't know if I'm in love, or I might be in love, but at least we could, I mean, maybe that's inmate to roommate. Maybe that's the whole premise of that.
Well, so inmate to roommate. But let me tell you about Deontay real quick. So Deontay is such an interesting character because, so this girl, Lacey was her name. Maybe it was Lacey. It doesn't really matter. We'll call her Lacey. So Lacey was the girl, and she wouldn't have sex with him unless he bought her boobs. And when she got out of prison, he gave her tons of money and gifts and clothes and everything. And then she was cheating on him the whole time. She didn't want to be with him. She was using him, and his mother got involved. It was really ugly. And then he tried to crash the wedding, and it's really bad. And then we did not see, but he started dating another prison inmate. That also used him, looked exactly like the first one. And then
he's got a type.
He's got a type. And then on this season, it is a prison girlfriend from a previous season who was with another guy, and she had slid into Deontay's DMs and said, let's get together. It's not going to end well.
No,
he's trouble.
I'm very sorry for Deontay. Do you follow Deontay on Instagram?
Well, I don't, because Deontay's Instagram is really just promos for his OnlyFans, and I'm just not interested.
Right.
Yeah. So, but he does.
We're not getting any. Oh, he does.
He has a new girlfriend, and what I do is the groups like the Love After Lockup Savage group that I'm on Facebook.
What's the Savage about?
There's no rules. There's no rules.
They call it savage. They call themselves savage.
They call themselves.
You can say savage. Anything. Is that what it is?
Anything.
You know what I say to that? That's unfortunate. Because you're like, I'm going to want a filter. I'm going to want there to be a filter. You savage people, but okay.
They follow everyone. And then when they do, they post a lot of updates on the inmates, so I get to see them that way instead of
You don't have to. You let them cull through the nonsense, and they pick out whatever might be interesting.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, so that's nice. That's nice of them to do that for me. In fact, one time I made a comment because this one guy was bragging about how he has a 750 credit rating and he could buy it, and he got a loan on a house. This one particular inmate that got out. And everybody was like, how did he have a 750 credit rating? And how did he get a loan? It's like, because he's not thinking he has to pay it back. And then he wrote back to me and said, hey, you're wrong. I have a job. I was like,
wow, do you know what that was, Ellen Sugarman? A little savage. Right. And who knew he was right there? You're like, oh, I didn't think he'd respond to me. But there he was. And,
there he was. I was like, oh my God, he's looking at me. So I quickly blocked him because I got scared. I'm not gonna lie.
He's looking at me. I was just going to say something weird to you, and you were like, hey, no, I'm trying to get my shit together. And you're like, well, I guess I root for you all as well. So the actual contestants or the reality show people are
what would you call? I'm dying to know, like, if you had a contestant on a show, this was a game show, like, what would they win?
Here's what they win. They win SAG scale. I mean, it's a reality show, so they're getting scale.
Oh, they are? Is that true? I always wondered that.
On reality shows, you get scale. You get it's anywhere between, if it's non-union, and most of those are, it's about $450 or $600 an episode. But if it's union, it's $1,200 to $1,700, $1,800 an episode.
Oh, and can you like?
Maybe I could date someone in prison. Have you ever been tempted to write someone in prison, Ellen Sugarman?
Never.
Good for you. Good for
never,
you.
Never.
It's not that people in prison don't deserve love or roommates or a life after lockup. I was just slightly worried about you.
Great, Jackie. Nice plug for the show. I love that one.
You can't know. You gotta check. You gotta check in. So
yeah. Well, they do, and they. I mean, some of them. One couple actually made it for. They've been on for about 3 seasons now, 3 or 4. They started Love After Lockup. We saw them meet. Then they got married. They got pregnant. They had kids. That happens a lot too. Is the bringing kids in the world, and that's. You know, we don't want to see that, but it happens. And then
you don't want to see that. There's the drama there is just sad. It's
like that's when it gets that is right. That's when it gets sad. It's like when their elderly parents get involved, and you see them like just taking advantage of everybody that comes in their path, and it's like, come on, you guys, like that's when it just turns, you know.
Well, and I know there's a woman who used to work, she may still work, and she said it just sucks the life out of you working on these reality shows, because you're trying to create situations or capture situations that are dramatic.
Yeah.
And so you go into these reality shows going, well, I hope this guy doesn't get better, because sort of like the what's the rehab one with the guy?
Oh, right, Intervention.
That was it, Intervention. So what is life after lockup? Is that them trying to get jobs and stuff?
It's really, truthfully, it's just the same thing, right?
Oh, it's just it's dating?
It's following them on another season. So a lot of times I don't even know if I'm watching Love After Lockup or Life After Lockup. Right. But now they do Love During Lockup, which is that's what they call it now when they get out of. So there's 3 of them. And that's what they call it when you get out of prison. So
what's Love During Lockup?
Love During Lockup is they
shoot inside the prison?
Well, you can't really do that. There's no cameras allowed in the prison. Apparently this is not a prison sanctioned show.
This is interesting. I did not, I hoped it wasn't.
Yeah, because we don't want to encourage this, I don't think.
Right, the prisons are like, we're trying. I mean, they are privately owned now, so they might be encouraging it, but not yet. They're not getting a taste.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing, right? Like my true self is like super supportive of like, I want to see prison reform. I want to see like the people that are selling weed and they got arrested for pot. I want to see them get out. I want to see all that kind of stuff, right? But then this side of me, the one that comes home from a show on a Friday night, is geared up and ready for the new episode.
Just watch somebody else's life just explode in 30 different. What are some of your favorite episodes? Do you even remember any of the specifics?
Oh, sure. Oh, sure. Yeah. The ones when they first get out of prison are kind of fun because they're like the girls and the guys, for that matter, they show this level of desperation that is just so out of control, and they're so excited to see these guys, and they get or girls. Usually the girls are a lot more like standoffish when they get out of prison. They're kind of like they need space, they need time. The guys are ready to have sex, and so it's always interesting to see what they're going to do, how much time they have before they go into their halfway house, or what's a post-prison house called again?
Probably a halfway house. So
probably halfway.
What do they have? Oh, they have some sort of like 24 hours to get drunk and laid. Is that what it is?
Not even 24 hours. Some of them only have like this one girl had like maybe 8 hours, and she had to get on a bus to go back. So she didn't have any time. So all she had time for was to open up her gifts. And then she never saw the guy again. She ghosted him. Oh, but a lot of them, like they have to, when they get out of prison, they have to have an address that they're going to, so the parole officers can find them.
Right.
So a lot of them do these talkings, these pen pal type situations, or phones or videos or whatever, and they make a plan like, okay, yeah, oh no, of course you can stay at my place when you get out.
Okay, which gives them an address.
Which gives them an address, and then that way, when they get out there, the girls or the guys are there to pick them up, and bring them to their house, and then get them on. There's a lot of very codependent relationships.
Sure. This doesn't seem like the healthiest way to. I mean, you have to meet people somehow, I suppose. And
I mean, if bars aren't working, and online dating doesn't work for everyone.
Well, and they've probably tried all of it. So they're just like, or they're encouraged to go, I don't know, what do you think? Yeah. And so,
Or they decide there's pen pals all over Eastern Europe, and then they get on Love After Lockup instead.
So what about 90
I'm sorry, not Love After Lockup. I'm sorry, not Love After Lockup. They get on 90 Day Fiance.
90 Fiance and all that kind of stuff. Do you watch those ones?
There's too many, and I can't keep up. I can't.
Okay, so they're these, because each of these shows is an hour to 3 hours long, you said, right?
Yeah.
And so do you record them and then you're like,
oh yeah. No. Yeah, they are all set on my DVR. Absolutely.
And then so what are your favorite what else do you love about them? What else? What's another favorite scene?
I love, well, like I said, I love when they get out of prison. Yep. I love I love just watching these, like, just how, well, I love their stupidity. I love to think about certain people in my life and be like, they do that. I know they do that, like that kind of thing.
Okay.
And it's it's so brainless, and it's so mindless, and there's not a lot of like, there's one-on-one drama between them, but it's not like the Housewives, or like where there's big groups of people that are just fighting all the time. It's just these two, and you're like, some of them I get bored with.
Trying to figure out how they're trying to figure out, because they don't really know each other, right?
No, it's like anytime you're in a relationship that moves really, really quick. Like, what do they call that now? The kids are calling it, they're calling it love bombing, where you fall in love very quickly. Right? So like, for instance, you go on one date with a guy, and then he's like, oh my God, I love you. And it's like, wait, you couldn't possibly love me. This is not,
How long are they pen paling before they get out?
Some of them for years.
Okay.
And then but then they get out, Jackie, they get out, and their life is there, and they're not contained, and so Deontay, for instance, is like, he's like, when she was in prison, she sent me letters every day, these long letters, and she'd call me, and she knew just where I was at all times, and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, now that she's out, I never see her. It's like, because now that she's out, she has a life, and she has to work, and she has to do stuff, and she's living with another guy, which is all,
Oh, wow. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So
I really do like to see the guys kind of, maybe this is what's the opposite of misogynistic?
I think
a woman.
Yes. Right. So, so you kind of celebrate it when the guys,
because they look like such idiots. Because they look like such idiots, and these girls are taking such advantage of them. And I think
are you watching it saying to yourself, well, at least I'm not them? Or are you watching, and because you said that you were watching it going, I know people that would make these terrible life decisions.
Yeah.
I would want to watch those, and then, because I'm such a control freak, I would want to watch them and go, Deontay, let me help you with your resume. Let me help your new girlfriend with her resume. Any chance you guys could get couples counseling, or maybe you aren't going to be together, but you should both get better jobs. Yeah. Any chance that you could both just be happy alone? Any chance that could be a thing?
Yeah. And see, and I don't know if I'm a control freak or not, but I definitely don't care. Like
You
I definitely
don't want to help. You're
I don't
like,
wanna
no,
help
no. You're
No.
literally just kicking back, going, that is gonna not work out.
Yeah,
Is that what it is?
I think so. Like, I mean, like,
You can see
yeah,
it coming.
yeah.
Right.
You're just watching it happen and you're like, oh my God. And then like, am I invested in them to the point that like one of them died? Few of them have died, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's
So they have very
shocking.
dangerous lives, right?
They
So they have
really
very
are.
sad, dangerous lives. And so if they die of overdose or of addiction, how do you find out? Through the Savage Facebook group?
Yeah, yeah. Or like, any gossip sites and stuff like that. They'll be like, oh, the star of Love After Lockup, so and so, his queen. Like there's one, like oddly enough, one of the guys who married a girl, who got to a girl who was in prison, who was a junkie. She was a serious junkie, and she made it and got out of prison, and she's doing pretty well. And he actually ended up ODing himself, and he wasn't in prison to start with. So
it was the opposite. He was the one on the outside.
Yeah, so that was kind of sad. But I mean, I do hope that some of them get help.
Yeah, yeah. It's because that would be the compelling narrative of the TV that I would watch. It would be like, so what we've got here is some people who have been forced into some terrible life choices, or who have blundered into some terrible life choices, or who've been, institutionalized into some terrible life choices. Let's see if we can rehab them. I love the idea that Oz was a rehab center. I'm offended that it ends poorly. That they rehab.
Well, I don't know if I would call it a rehab center. I would call it a experimental prison
situation where they were trying to do rehab, though, right? Where they weren't trying to just punish
not so much drug rehab. I mean, you can't really.
But they were criminal rehabs, right? It was a prison.
Sort of, yeah. They were trying to get them. They were trying to learn how to. It was almost like a hamster experiment on humans. They were trying to see if they could help them to live in a different type of environment, one that was a little more open, and how that would affect them. And it really didn't seem to affect them at all. But they'd go into Gen Pop when they'd get in trouble, and it really seemed exactly the same, only darker, when they would leave the Emerald City and go into Gen Pop.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't. Right, it was sort of was it a looser, like max minimum security? Was it supposedly a minimum security prison?
I think they had a little less. The people in Oz and the people in Emerald City, for those not in the know.
Yeah, right.
Emerald, the ones that were in Emerald City, they just had they were chosen as experiments almost. They were put into this unit to see if, truth be told, not 100% sure what they were doing. Like not 100% sure what was the difference between that unit and general population.
Any other unit. Okay.
Yeah. But there was a lot of stabbings that went on in Emerald City.
Yeah. A lot of sharpened items.
That's a lot of shanking. Bad. A lot of shanking going on.
That's not ideal. You wanna keep the sharp objects away.
Yeah.
So right now you're watching essentially Love After Lockup, Life After Lockup, Love During Lockup. And then are you watching Inmate to Roommate? And what is Inmate to Roommate?
So Inmate to Roommate is a program that is, they say at the beginning that it's a program of people that have been rehabilitated in prison, that have a prison pen pal that is not a sexual partnership, and they plan to move in with them afterwards.
Okay, so they just pen pal that were friends.
Just friends.
Okay.
Just friends.
How does that work out? Probably
not great. Well. Not great. Not great at all. Not great.
Damn it.
There's only one. This is a new series. It just started.
So much hopelessness.
Yeah.
It's just it's such a weird.
I don't know
such a weird genre for you to love. But you get to love. This is, as a genre, the reality show of hopelessness is a weird thing to be addicted to. But so you gotta watch something.
I don't know, truthfully, I don't know if I'm gonna survive this show. Like, I don't know, because only one couple out of like maybe 7 or 8, or one prisoner out of like 7 or 8 is interesting to me. The rest of them are just not, and it's this one guy, and he was a prison pen pal with this couple.
Okay.
I'm sorry, with this woman who is part of a couple.
Mhm.
And she's a born again Christian, and she's trying to get him to, and he now wants to be a Christian too. And so they gave him all these rules, and he doesn't want to follow any of them. And he really wants to watch porn and eat meat, because apparently he's not allowed to eat meat in their house. And so just the fighting that they're doing is kind of fun to watch. But the rest of them, I'm just not interested.
They might be getting their shit together, Ellen Sugarman.
I know.
And you're like, that is not compelling. That is not compelling narrative. Wow, bossy Christian. That is
bossy
definitely
Christians.
that makes you root for the guy who was like, I could be a Christian. Why do I not get to watch any porn or eat meat?
And then he has a girlfriend in California. They're in St. Louis, I think. And he has a girlfriend in California. So he's trying to get to her, and then he's borrowing money, and he's, so really and truly, it's almost like love after lockup. I would call it friendship after lockup.
Oh, yeah. But it's inmate to roommate.
Inmate to roommate.
And we get to meet this couple who have decided to take someone into their home.
Yeah, and they have a very good friend. They have a very good friend who is an ex-convict, who sat down with them and said, this is not a good idea. But they thought that, Jesus sent them in that direction, and off they went.
Off they went.
Well,
I mean, at least it's an indoor living situation that might make him go, well, I don't want to be this kind of Christian, but maybe I could be some other variation where I could eat meat. And I don't know how much. Did I tell you that? I don't know if you know this, but I was at a hotel probably 3 weeks ago.
I gotta tell you, I thought you were just gonna say, I don't know if you know this, Ellen, but I was in prison.
I was in prison.
I almost got so excited.
Look how I have my shit together. It was just 2 nights in jail, nothing big. Anyway, so I will say that
that's jail, Jackie. That's not prison.
Very different than Gen Pop. But I will say that
sorry,
there was porn on in a hotel that I was on the road. I was in Portland 3 weeks ago, and they had a porn channel at this hotel, but it wasn't super, like, it wasn't full frontal. It was literally, we just saw sort of her from the waist up, and they were having sex from behind. And as well, it's good if you only have one camera, because the angle was just that. And I'm sure they were having a lovely time from the noises everyone was making. It seemed like a lovely time, but I got bored. And so then I turned it over and watched Friends. But the thing is
as we do.
Well, because I was like, well, this is kind of sexy. Look at the people, the thin people who work out having the sex. And then it got kind of dull. And then I was like, all right, well, I would like something with slightly more plot, and possibly a 3-camera shoot. How about that? I'm not asking a lot.
Not asking a lot.
How are the Oz was shot very well. That's what we learned at the beginning of this program.
Yeah.
How are the cameras and the cinematography of the reality show?
Well, I wouldn't call myself a connoisseur of the cinematography of things, but I will say that it for me, all I want to make sure is it doesn't do this.
The shaking, no shaking.
Yeah, so it's not a handheld camera.
Okay, so they have tripods.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, like it's real. You know what I mean? Like they definitely have a whole camera crew following them, and you see them sometimes racing down the street with them, trying to find them when there's a big fight that blows up.
Oh, really?
I love the illogical fights that happen, and then you're watching this guy, and you're like, oh my god, he's gaslighting you. Step away, but they don't hear me.
They don't hear you, and then they fight. Do they ever physically fight? Is there hitting?
Sometimes the female will smack the guy, but you never see a guy smack a girl.
Right. You might like in the stuff that's edited out. but they don't want to encourage that because of lawsuits.
Right.
But some sort of lady doing this, for some reason, we're still okay with that.
We're still okay with that.
Well, that's because the guy's usually about 6 feet tall and she's 5'4".
Yeah. And the guy is emotionally abusive, always, right?
And is the woman ever emotionally? Like, are people are usually saying horrible things to each other, I bet.
Yeah, they kind of are, but there's a lot of controlling of women that goes on. A lot of except for Deontay, who's kind of a I don't know.
He gets more controlled than the women.
I don't know. I don't know a better
life.
word to. Yeah, I don't know a better word to use.
We could just call it controlling. Yeah, because
Yeah.
we don't have to call him some sort of cuck. That'd be disappointing.
Yeah.
So because Deontay actually sounds like a nice enough guy, but he just keeps picking the wrong women, and he probably shouldn't go to the prison pool or to a reality TV show. But his Instagram is his OnlyFans.
His Instagram is a promotion for his OnlyFans, which he does with his new girlfriend now, who actually came to the Love After Lock. They took him off because they don't want the Love After Lockup cast chiming in on this board. I don't know why. But that's the rules. You got to follow the rules. Wait,
they don't want any of the people that are in the show to be on the board?
So okay. I mean, Chase, so the guy who talked to me probably got kicked out pretty quickly. But but his girlfriend, his current girlfriend came on and showed a photo of the two of them and then wrote a whole big thing saying, like, I'm tired of everybody making him out to be something he's not. He's a good man. He's very supportive. These women have,
he sounds like he's trying very hard to be supportive to someone who might appreciate him.
That's what he wants. That's all he wants. All he wants is love.
Right. He just seems like a guy who just kept picking wrong, or the crew was like, what about one more season, Deontay, where you look like a douche? And he's like, what do I get paid? $4.50 an episode? I'm in. And because what's his day job? Does he have a day job?
I think well, they did show one time one of his ex-girlfriends going to see him at his job, and he was wearing one of those thick orange jumpsuits.
So he might work at like the airport or something.
Something like
that. Loading luggage or
and
like
big
sort
boots.
of
I think he does okay. I think one time he said that he made $40,000 a year,
which is a respectable amount of money for a single person. Yeah. If he's supporting several prisoners.
Yeah.
You can't, that 40 grand's not enough to support several recurring girlfriends who just got out of jail.
Who want to take you for everything you've got.
Right. So
yeah. I mean,
let us hope that Deontay has a nice life, quite honestly, Ellen Sugarman. And then you don't see him on the next season of Love After Lockup. Even though I don't know
if I can support that wish. I think I want to know where he is at all. I think I want to follow Deontay.
Maybe you could start pen paling him. Maybe it could be your No. All right. All right. Well, we're pushing an hour here, Ellen Sugarman. So
I could talk for 7 more hours on this subject.
I have to say that while this is a safe space, I've been made uncomfortable. Sometimes I am made uncomfortable by people's dorkdoms, and that'll happen. But sometimes it's scary movies. Sometimes it's scary books, because I don't. But there are things that I wouldn't do myself. But I am fascinated to find out what other people like, because a lot of people love this kind of reality TV, and I'm like, oh, what makes it fun? Well, you're like, well, it's a train wreck, and I can't stop watching it. So,
do you watch any reality TV?
No, not a one. Wow. I once watched that the one where the stand-up comic drives people around in his cab and asks some questions.
Oh, that
Cash Cab.
Cash Cab. Yeah,
that's not really a reality show. That's more of a game show.
Yeah.
I've watched some game shows.
Yeah, but never. I mean, 90 Day Fiance is a big one. Everyone's watching that one.
Bamford loves a 90 Day Fiance.
Loves it. Yeah, I tried to get her. I only had her for 3 nights, but I tried everything to get her to do Love After Lockup. And I think she wrote it down in her notebook, but I think once she was gone, she left it behind.
She might watch it, and then because for me, I once accidentally saw an episode of Hoarders, and that was just, it made me want to tear up.
Yeah,
so,
that's hard. See, now that is just sad.
Yes, as opposed to people in prison who are taken for a buggy ride and then die of overdoses.
Oh
I don't know,
God.
just as sad for me. Can't do it. But I did watch Hoarders once, and it was gross. But and I did feel sad for those people. But I'm glad that it's a way that you can unwind, and I'm glad that they're making scale. That's what I'm happy about, or at least a small stipend.
I love that about you. I love that about you, and I think that like a prison reform program.
That I hosted, where I'd be like,
hosted.
Seriously, can we get these people some help?
I would like, here's what I would like. Here's my dream. My dream is to have a reunion show with you being the host. You don't have to watch it. You just have to talk to them. It's one,
I have always said that I would rather live through one of these things than actually watch it, because I constantly going towards the screen going, let me just help. Can it just move? Just move, get out of that. Put it down, drop it, and then I'm just talking to people like they're a dog, and then nobody wants that. So yeah.
Well, I mean, I just think that I think it's such a brainless, fantastic hour of TV, and
it's something.
And I'm here for it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ellen Sugarman. By the way, Ellen Sugarman 617 is the Instagram, and Ellen S 617 is the Twitter. And follow her, and then you'll find out where she's doing stand-up next, because she just came off the road, and you'll find out what the next thing is. If
this will go out. I'm in Boston. I'm at Rogue Island Comedy. That's where I am. I'm at Rogue Island Comedy Festival next week, though.
In October?
Yeah, October 8th.
Okay. Yeah. And I think it'll be over, because I'll be in Plano, Texas, I think is my next.
Oh, are you doing the Plano Festival? Sorry, the Plano Festival?
I believe so. It's JackieKation.com, you guys. Check out my dates at JackieKation.com. Anyway, Ellen Sugarman, thanks for doing the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Jackie. It was a lot of fun.
Great. And Rangers, you know the rules out there. Take care of each other.
My hat, my hat, my hat. They're dancing around my hat. My hat, my hat, my hat. Well, what do you think of that? If it looks like a Mexican hat dance and it sounds like a Mexican hat dance, it's most likely a Mexican hat dance. So take off your hat and let's dance.
Yay! Oh my God. Why don't we just call that as the end of the show?